And here we are to episode 2 of the Big Blue Breakdown. I'm Matthew Lyle, joined by Christopher King of the Hill and Mike Bucky. How we doing today, guys?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
All right, what about you, Mike?
Great as always over here,
Running
man.
off. For those who don't know, Mike is a very busy man. He runs several shows, coaches a football team. My man's running off fumes over there. You will make it through the evening?
Oh, we're always ready, man.
All right, love to hear it.
Let's break it down with basketball today.
Oh, of course.
How you guys feel about that?
I'm excited. I don't know if when the last time. Well, last year. I mean, I'm this excited every year. I mean, I'm what we would like to call an unrealistic Kentucky fan. I can go from 1939 and tell you every year I think we should have won the title, and it's most of them. So
Right.
I'm a self-proclaimed unrealistic Kentucky fan.
Well,
I mean, you kind of have to be around here, man.
at least we're not Cards fans. But,
Yeah, true that.
but let's go ahead and move on to the Bahama tournament coming up. What, in about a month, I believe? Does that sound about right, guys? About a month?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, let me cut you off there. It's more of a tour opposed to a tournament. A tournament
Yeah.
implies that they will be facing each other in a 16-1 type manner.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, Kentucky's the only one playing. Is the only common opponent. You know, everyone else is like the Bahama national team and Team Toronto isn't playing each other. I believe it's just.
Yeah, they only have one game. I do
Right.
believe. Yeah. It's
Yes, sir.
Against UK. So, do you guys feel like this is a good tournament then for UK? Like,
I think it's a good turn. I think it's a good dress rehearsal, and I mean, it's like it is every year. We got to get used to all new players, so they need something like this to get used to one another and see what they can go do and go from there. You know?
I feel like it's good in the sense of it play. This is some of the toughest teams they will face, talent wise. You know, the guys down at Duke, the guys at Kansas may match up better as far as talent goes. But when you're going in there playing against grown men, I think this is what's really going to help them be key. And really, the only time we did something like this was in 2015. And I think 10 of those 12 guys are in the pros or at least sniffing around.
Yep.
yeah. So, do you guys really see them losing a game in the Bahamas then?
I do.
No.
I
No.
see
No.
them letting one slip. I mean, you're looking at we got the Bahamas national team.
That's the only game.
We got Team Toronto. We got a team called Mega BMX. I'm probably butchering that name. I just think you're playing 4 games in the span of 4 days with kids against men.
Well, it's 8 days, isn't it?
From my understanding, it's from the 8th to the 12th.
8th to the 12th.
So you get a game on the 8th, the 9th, the 11th, and 12th. So 4 games in 5 days.
Okay.
Which, don't get me wrong, I think that's going to be great prep for the NCAA tournament. I think it's going to be great prep for when we play some of these veteran teams in SEC tournament play. But I'm realistic. Even that team in 2015 lost a game.
Yes, they did. They went 5-1.
Yes. And, well, ironically, the only difference, in my opinion, that 2015 team, they played a team that they had beat originally quite bad.
Yes.
And that team just won. In my opinion, that team wanted it more.
Yes, they did.
So the real question comes down to is, do you think the want's there for them to go 4-0 in the Bahamas? Like, do you really think like these 17, 18, 19-year-old kids want to really play basketball down in the Bahamas, or do they just want to kick back and party for 8 days?
If it were me, speaking as a Kentucky fan, I mean, my first game with that jersey on, I'd want to show out and show what I have and play the hardest I could. I don't care if the tournament was at the local YMCA. You know, each one of these kids, they play this game for a reason. I'm sure they'll find that reason and they'll show up.
You know, I get what you're saying, and we're looking at this as Kentucky fans, but I'm looking at this realistic as players. Cal has a interesting team this year, and I think he's wanting to stay away from the platoon word. I would love to see platoon, but I don't know if he will. I think what's going to happen is he's going to get down there. They are going to be having a great time. They're in Bahamas. Who wouldn't? But they're going to get down there. He's going to start tinkering with lineups. He's going to start tinkering with matchups. He's going to start tinkering with rotations. You know, what if I play 3-point guards? What if I play majority big? What if I play big? What if I play fast? I think he's going to start toying with these things because you got to remember, first game of the regular season is Duke. There is no Monmouth. There is no Mississippi Valley before that to get ready. It's Duke. So one of these games, especially if he starts, because I think he's going to lose one. Either he starts 0-1 and then he becomes very serious and competitive for the rest three, or he starts 3-0 and in that fourth one starts toying with things, starts seeing what guys can do alone, or starts trying to master what he sees, or at least get a really good feel, something that he's probably not able to get in practice right now.
So Matt, let me ask you this: do you think, let's say we go 2-2, do UK fans start to panic?
Not at all. Well, the main thing is UK fans don't know anything about these guys, and the luxury of being UK is ESPN is going to cover the heck out of all four of these. ESPN are going to show you guys that they've sent to the pros. They're going to show you guys playing for the World Cup qualifying team. They're going to hype this up. That's the luxury of being on ESPN, the SEC network. So even your most common fan is going to be like, oh, we're playing some good guys. And then once August 12th rolls around, it's going to shut down, and it was like a sneak preview. It was like when those TV shows give you the very first episode, and then they're gone for a couple months. You kind of forget about it. And then in November, we don't have time to reminisce because, boom, like I said, November 9th, Duke.
Yeah, Duke. So, Chris, let me ask you the same thing. Are you in panic mode if we go 2-2 or even 1-3?
We lose a game, I'm in panic mode. No, man. I only see our hardest game in this entire tournament being that first one, August 8th, against the Bahamas national team. Like I said, these guys, yeah, they played against each other in practice, but practice in a game setting is completely different. I see it.
Well, let me stop you there, because the depth of UK, like, I feel second and third string teams, like our second, third string players are just as good as some teams' starters. So
Absolutely.
So, like, we might be playing down to competition.
I could see that.
I don't know, man. That platoon word, that's where that platoon word comes in, you know?
And unlike the 2015 team, when we actually platooned, your 11th and 12th guys were Dominique Hawkins and Derek Willis. Now, we are too deep at every position, but you're talking about your third stringers. I don't think that's there this year. I mean, I think there's a big difference between Derek Willis and Brad Calipari.
So, Chris, you can go ahead and finish your point about 2-2 in panic mode there.
I don't know, man. I don't see it being panic mode. Not something like this. I mean, honestly, this is.
Didn't you just say you were going to go panic mode if we were in 2-2?
Oh no, man!
Okay.
No. Yeah, I was kidding, man. No.
Okay.
Yeah, that's. I mean, realistically, any Kentucky basketball fan, we lose a game. I don't care who it's to. They're gonna worry a little bit, you know.
Well, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic here. The last time we played in the Bahamas, we went 38-1 that season and lost in the Final Four, I do believe. Do you guys see that being a possibility this year?
I do, absolutely. This, like any year in Kentucky basketball, it's NCAA title or bust. Now, that disappointment word you're talking about, now we get into the Sweet 16, Elite Eight, Final Four, and lose. That's when people cry in the streets.
Yeah, I don't really worry about March. I think last year and the year we lost to Indiana in the second round are kind of the exception to the rule that Cal has brought. Cal has pretty much set the expectation that I don't care what we do in the regular season. When March comes, whether we're a 1 seed, a 4 seed, an 8 seed, hence the 2014 season, we're going to be ready to play. And I'm looking at this team. I'm looking at this schedule. I think once we started, I want to say 10-0, 12-0, 14-0 last year, he said, guys, we can do this. I think this year he kind of built a trap door so he doesn't even have to have that conversation. In the non-conference, we play Duke, we play Kansas, we play North Carolina, we play Louisville. He's setting it up to where when we take a loss, now you don't have to hear that. I see us having 2 non-conference losses, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I actually, not to harpen back, but that 2015 team, I think we would have been much better off had we lost to Georgia. Had we lost to, was it Ole Miss at home? Had we lost these games, I think we would have fared better. And I think he's built that for this season. So I'm prepared to lose 4 to 5 losses and be completely fine when March rolls around.
Chris, what are your thoughts on that?
No, absolutely, man. I agree with you. I see us losing at least 2 non-conference games. I don't see us losing the SEC at all. We'll make it 5 straight this year. But when March rolls around, no, I don't really need to worry.
See, I have every year we talk about realistic like expectations as a Kentucky fan. Every year, I have just a few things that would make me consider. Now it differs depending on the year, but every year I come with I don't want to lose at Rupp. I don't want to lose to Louisville, and I don't want to lose in the month of March. Now, mind you, the Final Four and the championship games usually in April, so Cal has kind of been okay. I've been okay with Cal and my expectations that have been set, losing to Louisville twice, losing just a handful of games at Rupp, and only a couple of seasons losing in March. So,
right.
I mean, as silly as that sounds, everybody's like, oh, everybody wishes to never lose in March. Mind you, you can not lose in March and still not win the national championship. I ain't saying he has to go 8 for 8, but those are just some things that expectations he's allowed me to set.
So, as a realist, is it championship or bust this season?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
This year is like just like last year, for example. And now this is hindsight, of course. Last year was a Final Four or bust, in my opinion, especially the way the bracket opened up. I don't think we were beating Villanova. I don't know how well we matched up against Michigan, but that bracket, once Virginia, Arizona, I believe Tennessee as well, once they went down, there was no reason we shouldn't have made the Final Four.
Yeah, and outside looking in, because like I am new to the UK fan base here.
We know.
Kansas State for life. But regardless, once that bracket ended up like that, and we were facing Kansas State in the Sweet 16, like I really felt it was a championship team. Like there should have been no way that UK shouldn't have been in the championship, and I feel a lot of people felt that same way. Chris, did you feel that same way?
Absolutely. I think if we'd have beat that Kansas State team, we'd have won it all.
That's a bold statement.
I'm only going to say,
yeah,
if
we don't want it all.
Kansas State, I think we win the Elite Eight game. I think we even beat Michigan in the Final Four, but I just don't know how well we matched up to the leadership and the guard play of Villanova.
We were very young.
I think we would have struggled. And it just really stinks that one of the best things we did all year, we had a lot of concern, we had some struggles early on, was Shea getting to the basket. And when we had, I believe, a 4-point lead on Kansas State, he goes to the basket, gets one of his signature, easy, probably shooting 70, 80% shot, and then tries to kick it out. And Kansas State ends up getting the ball, and then scoring off of it. I think that's just something that sticks in my head.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to talk champions, had we not choked it away, I'll take you back the year before. Had we beat North Carolina in the Elite Eight, I don't think any team in the Final Four was beating us.
Probably not. So, Chris, let me ask you this question. Let's say Cal loses in the second round this year. Do you think it's time for him to move on? I mean, is this one and done thing like not working anymore?
No, absolutely not. I mean, no. His job security is good for at least 10 years.
I'm not saying anything about job security, but I'm just thinking, do you think it's time to move past the one and done? Like,
well,
try to, because bringing in Reed, what's his last name?
Reed Travis?
Yeah, Reed
Travis.
Yeah.
From Stanford.
That's a big step.
I mean, even then he's a one
absolutely.
And done too.
Yeah.
He's already a senior.
Absolutely. I mean, but hell, damn near every freshman nowadays is one and done. I mean, I don't like the one and done thing. Honestly, I hate it. I would have loved to have seen that 2013, 2014 team play together. So I would like to see the NBA and the NCAA change the age rule to where they have to at least do 2 or 3 years of college at least before they can be eligible for the draft. Yeah, I'd like to see that happen.
Let me piggyback on that. That won't happen. If a 18-year-old has to wait 3 years to play in the NBA, they'll go over to Europe and play for 3 years. Or I hate to say it, but that ball, he's starting his league, and they'll jump in his league as well. So
Right, and the 3-on-3 stuff they've got, the big three stuff they've
Yeah.
got.
The ball league is a complete joke. They play no defense, and
Right.
it's losing credibility in my opinion.
It's
I
like
can
watching the
rebuild it,
All-Star
but
game.
It's nothing right now. 3-on-3 is for guys who are veterans and already played. My thing is, you got to go the other way, Chris. You got to get rid of any age restriction at all and let the guys develop as they will. Because what you're going to do, if you make them stay 2 years, now the ball is in the G League's court.
yeah.
And if you're the NCAA, and not, I pulled the soapbox out, and I'm going to try to keep this quick. If you're the NCAA, you want these guys making some sort of income. You want these, you don't have to pay them out of pocket, but you want these guys to be able to sell jerseys. You want these guys to be able to make money off of their name and off of themselves because it keeps you a better product. You know,
Right.
if I'm Winyon Gabriel, and I'm using him for example, and my options
That's a prime
are
example.
come back to college or go make $30,000. That conversation, and I need to feed my family. Going to make $30,000 is the clear winner. But if my options are stay at Kentucky and I bet I can sell $60,000 worth of merchandise and make $60,000 worth of revenue out of the NCAA tournament, or go to the D League for $25,000, $30,000, guess who's coming back to college to develop? So I think, obviously, you're always going to have your Kevin Durant, your LeBron James, your Kobe Bryant, your guys who can get to the pros as soon as possible. But you're going to develop yourself a better product if these guys had a chance to make $60,000 to $100,000, whether it be off shoe deals, whether it be off selling their uniforms in a school shop, or not the actual uniforms they wear, but selling their replica jerseys. Like when I go to the store, Louisville's a good example. The 8 Louisville jersey, I know that's Lamar Jackson. You're not just randomly selling an 8 jersey that happened to be 5 3 years ago. I know that was Teddy Bridgewater, and I know you transferred it to the Lamar Jackson once he became profitable. But just because you don't put a last name on it, these guys get no money. Look, that's a sham. It's a joke. There's only one way around to pay the kids. I'm sorry, you lost me on that one.
Well, speaking of paying the kids, let's switch over to football here. Benny Snell.
How did you make that segue?
Hey,
Speaking of paying the kids to football.
I like it.
hey, it's
All right.
practice makes perfect,
We're
man.
with
But
I like it.
Benny Snell, SEC Media Day was Monday or Tuesday. Cannot remember for sure here, but he said he was the best running back, not in college football, not in the Midwest, not in the United States, but on the planet. The best running back in the planet. Let's just scratch that idea. Is he
Yeah,
the
no.
best quarterback or the best running back in college football? Chris, let's
He's
start
the
with you.
best. He's the best running back in the SEC. I'll give him that. I mean, he named to the Maxwell Award watch list already. He's on the Doak Walker Award watch list already. Led the SEC in rushing touchdowns last year. Ranked 3rd in total yardage, 3rd in rushing yards per game. I mean, you look at any Kentucky rushing record, he pretty much has the record in almost all of them. I mean, yeah, without a doubt, he is hands down the best running back that has come out of Kentucky. But as far as the best running back in college ball, he's up there, but I don't know if he's the best. But he is the best in the SEC, absolutely.
Matt, what do you think about that?
So I can't really. It's so tough to say 1, 2, 3 at any position, in any conference, in any league. I will say he's up there. I like the Harris kid at Bama. I think he's going to. I think he's really good.
Najee Harris,
No, the one from Kentucky, Damian Harris.
Damian, right, from Richmond.
Yeah, the one that who actually went to Bama. I really like what he's going to bring next year. The problem with Benny is he plays against SEC defenses, whereas if you're a running back in Oklahoma, you don't. I don't know what his quarterback's going to do. If Terry Touchdown isn't blowing us away or isn't giving him a viable option, we become one-dimensional. So he could have 600 yards rushing and be the best, and the Harris kid could have 2,000 yards rushing and be the second best, and you're not really going to get a clear answer. So it's tough to say. I think he's up there. I think especially in the SEC, he's up in that elite running back category. But there's just a lot of things that playing at Kentucky, especially depending on how our defense shows up. Are we going to have to take the ball out of Snell's hand now? I know we like wearing that Wildcat, no pun intended. I think he's good, but I don't know. I don't know if best, and I don't think we're going to get a true representation of that this season.
Do you see him leaving after this year?
I think it depends. So right now I'm 70% yes. The 30% in me tells me that if we can compete, if we feel like this year's a stepping stone, if he can come back next year and be in a better offense against maybe with an overall better team and play maybe a worse schedule or an easier schedule, I should say, and then they can hype him into coming back for that senior push, almost like an Andre Woodson, then I think so. That's at 30%. But right now, just based on how I feel this season's going to go, based on how much we're going to use him, yes, I think he's gone.
So do you think if Bob Stoops can somehow get
Are we getting Bob?
Or Mark
Mark?
Stoops? Yeah. Stoops boys, they confuse me.
I
So
love Bob on the recruiting trail.
Right, true. Oh, so let's say he goes out and finds a 5-star quarterback. Going to come in next year, going to be the next Tim Couch. And Benny has just a breakout year, an amazing year. Everybody's talking about he can go first round in the draft. Do you see him coming back for that senior year with a good quarterback to play that last year? Or do you see him going to the draft?
Honestly, the scenario you just set for me, even if everything plays out, I see him going. I see there being too many variables that he has to take into consider with bringing in a freshman quarterback. Is the freshman quarterback going to be like the kid from Georgia and actually pan out, or a kid from Bama? Or is he going to take a couple years to develop? Or is he going to be the next Drew Barker? Now, I'm not sure what year the kid we got this year is, but if he goes out there and balls, and together they build a nice tandem, and then they both come back for a senior season, then I'm 50-50, 60-40 the other way.
Okay.
So let me pile on this real quick here. Bob Stoops is 26-36 in his last 7-8 seasons. I can't remember for sure. If it's a down year, Snail leaves, foregoes his senior year. Do you see Stoops leaving, being fired?
Yes.
Again, Mark Stoops.
Yeah, Mark Stoops. Big
Do I
12
see him
right there,
getting
yeah.
fired?
Fired, leaving, just not meeting expectations. I mean, he's 26-36.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, the team he got from Joker Phillips was, once again, no pun intended, a joke.
A joke.
You can't let, this is something I tell people at work, this is something I tell my friends when I'm just talking to people, you can't let great get in the way of good. Is Mark Stoops Nick Saban? Is he Urban Meyer? No. But you're Kentucky right now, and you're not going to get those. So if you fire Mark Stoops, who do you bring in? The chances are it's not as good.
Who you bring in, Chris?
I bring in Les Miles.
Look, okay, so I like that idea at face value, but I'm thinking long term. I'm thinking if Mark Stoops ever gets over this hump, he makes Kentucky his. We get Les Miles. Les Miles gets us to 1, 9, 10 win season. He's gone. I don't think Les Miles doesn't look like. I just don't get the feeling Les Miles would set up home in Lexington. I could be wrong, and then you're right. Then that would be, if I was wrong, that'd be a great pick. It'd be a great coach because he wouldn't have to deal with Bama. He wouldn't have to deal with the stress. When basketball season comes, he could just kick his feet up and relax because the pressure is gone. But I'm just afraid you give up 10 years of decent football for 1 year of really good football, followed by another 8 years of crap and mediocrity.
Well, let me pile on that. 1 year of great football. Let's jump over to the Big 12. Kansas, they went to the Orange Bowl 1 year.
Yes.
They were 12-1 or 12-2 that season. I can't remember
They
for
had
sure.
the bigger coach. I don't remember his name. He was
Mark Mangino.
Yes.
That 1 year brought so many players into the school that are now in the NFL.
Okay.
I mean, yes, they only went 6-6 for the last 3, 4, 5, 6
They
years.
were 0-12 last year, though.
Well, that's because they fired Mark. That's a long story short.
Okay.
But I feel a big change, letting, just cleaning house, get people excited about football again, will boost the ticket sales, be able to pay more coaches to keep less miles around. I mean, because money is the ultimate factor, like I feel, and I mean, just get people excited about football in this area, about the way they are about basketball. I mean,
Look, you want football to be popular here? Build me a time machine. Let me go back to 1951. We buy Bear Bryant a car just like we did Adolph Rupp. And now we are the most prestigious and annoying fan base
In the world.
because we're Alabama football and Kentucky basketball, and life's great. We have
Right.
8 national titles in basketball, 13 in football, and that's if you want to build it. But other than that, I just don't see if you fire Mark Stoops, I don't see Les coming here. I see us going after the biggest, hottest name, the 2019 version of Willie Taggart, and which I think he's somehow he's sweet talking somebody.
yeah.
But we get somebody who's just getting us back to 6-6. So I don't know. I just think there's a lot. I think that if Stoops can hit that year, if Stoops can get that going, we're good.
So, Chris, as a UK fan, are you happy being mediocre in football? 6-6, 7-5.
Absolutely not. No, I mean, even if we go 7-5 every year, make a bowl game and win one occasionally, no, I don't. If Stoops has a good year and can build on it, yeah, that's going to get everyone interested in football. That's also going to generate more revenue for the college. Then maybe they can knock down Commonwealth that's been there since the early 90s and build a state-of-the-art awesome stadium that people want to pay that kind of ticket price that they're asking for to come to.
It's Kroger Field, sir.
But still, I mean, it's
I get what you're saying. But
as
the
far
way
as
he-
stadiums, man, it's outdated.
the way he asked the question, are you satisfied, was silly. Because am I satisfied not making $100,000 a year? No, but it's not like I can just wake up tomorrow and be like, all right, now I need $100,000. No, it's a long process that you have to go through. There's steps that have to be taken, and realistically, it may never be achieved. Am I okay with what Mark Stoops has done here? A little bit. I hope we see a bigger swing. I think one reason it's so disappointing is because he came out the gate 5-1, 4-0, 4-2 type starts. The problem you have when you're Kentucky, when you're Mark Stoops and you're sitting in these recruits' houses, where he did good was saying, hey, you can go sit on the bench at Alabama, or you can come start for me at Kentucky. That worked. But now he has a solid 22. Now he has to look at these kids and say, hey, you can go sit on the bench in Alabama, or you can come sit on the bench in Kentucky, and they're going to pick Alabama. Because when you look at the way these seasons have unfolded, it all comes down to depth. I'll take our top 22 versus any top 22 in the conference. It's what happens when Alabama's third-string linebacker is going to be drafted, and our third-string linebacker is a walk-on. So I get it, and in a perfect world, I would love to have better. I would love to have had Urban Meyer before he went to Ohio State. I just don't know how realistic it is right now.
Chris, any thoughts on that?
Oh no, man, I said it good, buddy.
All right, so we're going to end that right here. Thanks for tuning in. Go ahead and click the like button, subscribe, comment below. Do you think this is the year UK wins the national championship in NCAA basketball? Is this year UK football goes 7-5 and beats Florida? Who knows? Tune in next week, 9 a.m. Thursday. Bye.